It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. The Ghost of Ron is back to start off the week. We are here on SimWorld today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me is my co-host Yells. Good morning, man. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, sir.
Happy Monday indeed. I want to go ahead and get this kicked off and started off. I lost a bet
Oh,
to Rick Blaze, so if you hear me say at any point anything weird, it's because of the bet. Um, so we'll just go ahead and get that started right now so I don't have to bother
fantastic.
with it later in the show. Rick Blaze, I mean, he's something of a basketball analyst god. All right. Only on
well,
Mondays. Let's keep it moving.
well. All right, yeah. Yeah, we had some games over the weekend, man. Let's recap those for those who may have missed them. If you did, shame on you, but it's fine. We'll forgive you. SimWorld Atlantis versus SimWorld Oceania.
Yep. Really, really good one here, B-Ron. SimWorld Atlantis, Latin America, getting it done in the first quarter. It was a really close game throughout. The tone of this game really changed in the third quarter, but in the first quarter here, as we see Nathaniel Zilberman knock it down from 3 and 1, going for the 4-point play. Looks like is he gonna get it done here at the line? I think we wouldn't be showing the clip if he wasn't. Atlantis holding their own here, but Oceania was up 22. Jarrell Beauchamp and Yvonne Conwell getting it done in a major way in the first half for Oceania, as we see Bjarni Janssen going to work here for the slam, going right by Jackson Whitlock there. Atlantis looked really good despite the score here. They maintained being down somewhere between 5 or 9 the whole time, but it looks like their shooters really got going there. But here was what we saw in the first half that kind of kept them behind. Look at this. Look at that pass there.
Oh man.
Ooh, nasty finish, Damian Luffy. He'd get it going here in the second half. Damian Luffy finished with oh goodness. Look, I'm on the wrong deal here, bro. I'm
Oh man.
absolutely on the wrong stats
Hey,
here.
hey,
Yeah,
hey,
Damian
bro.
Luffy finishing with 18 points here in this
Yeah.
game. Slight overcast coming through in the game later. Oceania is still maintaining their rough 10-point lead here. But as always, as we've seen in these SimWorld prep games, someone always makes a run. And I'll point out here, Atlantis, they had 5 players. Count them, 5 players in double figures. And they were going to get it going here. Bjarni Janssen couldn't get it done, but Keontae Smith, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks. Looking like the leader of this team. He's going to get a little help there. He's going to knock down the 3, and they come roaring back. You see that Atlantis is now down 6. Bjarni Janssen going to get it over to this young man, goes by the name of Jukabis Koranaskis. And I think some people learned his name there. Ultimately, Atlantis, as I kind of flubbed what we had going on there, Atlantis will win this one 82-75, B-Ron. 5 players in double digits, as I said. Bjarni Janssen, 12 minutes, 21 points in just 12 minutes. Keontae Smith, 14. Nathaniel Zilberman, 13, knocking down 4 of 8 threes. Big-time buckets out there. Kenneth Klum, 12, 2 of 6 from 3. And Karanaskis, who I've already mentioned, 12 points. Everybody on the team contributed. On the other side, Damian Luffy led the way for for Oceania. And Beauchamp, just 13, Yvonne Conwell behind there. They fell apart in the second half. That was the story of this game, B-Ron.
Yeah, and the to give credit the other way, to SimWorld Atlantis, great heart on them fighting back and staying in the game too, because that's always half the battle. You can only come back if you're able to stay within a certain point range in basketball. It's a game of run, sure, but you can only be so far back before you start to look in other directions or the plan for the next game, that kind of stuff. That didn't happen in this one. They were able to stay with it, stay in it, and that allowed them to take advantage once Oceania fell apart in the second half.
Yeah, showing great grit. They scored Atlantis scoring only 32 points in the first half, putting up 50 in the second half. Their defense really got it going.
Yeah, really got it going in that second half for sure. Should also note that this game was restarted
Oh yeah,
due
that
to
was weird.
some water in the ball,
Water in
which
the
is,
ball.
look, you're on a ship, man. I don't. It happens, I guess. Got it. But I guess you got to keep the ball racks inside wherever you store them. Just keep it happening next time.
For sure.
Little home court advantage didn't work in their favor. Anyway, we had another international game though. It was SimWorld Middle East taking on SimWorld Europe, looking to go 4-0 in this one.
This one was a really good game. Second quarter was not so pretty, we'll say that. But Middle East fighting again, man. Fighting again. There's a nice bucket to beat the buzzer to end the first quarter. I think that was Yusuf Arda there. But then we saw more SimWorld Europe. We saw some of this guy, Tommy Hughes. Nice bucket, but you know who we're going to talk about here. Let's see some little more Middle East, though. Hussein Al-Noor. What an interesting prospect this kid is. He has great versatility, standing about 6'10". But the pick and roll got going. Jose Angel Camacho with the big time three as Europe is up 7 in this one in the second half. We're going to see if they can fight back a little bit on Middle East side. And they did some work there. That's a beautiful move there on the post fade. There was a lot of good post action in this game. But I would say it was just a little too much of this right here. We see Ty Merca on the pick and roll with a beautiful dime to Ivanov. Andre Ivanov, another one of his big buckets on the pick and roll. They are a dangerous duo. Up 7 here in Middle East, trying to bring them back more. Bauskis can't get it to go. He can get it to go. Pulls them within 4, but I think we're going to see a little more what we call two-headed monster here. Ivanov, not worried. He doesn't see the defender at all on the post block, B-Ron. He doesn't see them. Not worried about a double team. He's going to get a little more action here. This time he sees the double team back out to Merker. That 1-2 combo is insane. He knocks down the 3. Europe's up 10, and they wouldn't look back. You see him pull a little closer here, but here's that 1-2 combo one more time. Ivanov, you have to worry about Merkel on the cut to the basket. Ivanov up and over the defender, knocks his bucket down. He finished the game with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He just got it done, B-Ron.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. And that was the story of the game. The 1-2 combo, like you said, of Andre Ivanov and Ty Merca. And then you add in the 10 and 5 from Ivan Saslav as well. Those, man, you mentioned it a couple days ago, I believe. Europe has an identity, and it's working. They're 4-0 now.
Very strong identity. When you have a good two-man game on that pick and roll, it's hard to stop. Ty Merkel finished with 15.7 assists also, 7 dimers. He's looking like he's one of the league's top assist men. I know we had looked at Samuel Bogus, Zagor. There's a few other guys. Let me not throw him out of the window. But Ty Merkel's right there. He's finishing every game with just about 6 or 7 assists right there with him and Ivanov. And you mentioned it. Suslav is one heck of a player. On the other side, shout out SimWorld Middle East, Yusuf Arda, 15 points. Shazad Jokar, 10 points, 10 rebounds. And then Hussein Al-Noor, young guy still trying to get it done, 10.6 boards. Could not get it done. 7-point loss for Middle East. They're still on the losing trail.
Yeah, but this game could have been a lot differently, I think, if they would have scored more than 6 points in the second quarter. Because they were in this game. They were fighting all game. Didn't go away. It's great. It was absolutely great.
And they actually outscored Europe in the second half. But that 6-point, you're absolutely right. That 6-point quarter really hurt them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of a game that got away from people, though, into our last game of the recap, the Yacht Club taking on SimWorld South America. And, yeah.
Was not close.
No, it was not. Was not.
Yacht Club came out and put up 28 points in the first quarter. They shot damn near 70% in the quarter. And I mean, they were just running left and right. I really just feel like this is a highlight package that we watch here. This is going to be one of the few. So am Tyler Montalvin. Let's learn how to say his name with the big boy move down low. But that was about all we would see. Josiah Cook, we would see a lot of him. He finished the game with 12 points. 14 boards, 5 assists. There's a beautiful pass to Trey Willis getting the start. As De'Aaron Cruz did not play in this one, suspended for 1 game. Garrett Hart with the beautiful dime there. We got to see, yes indeed, we got to see some Xavier Pope. 16 points from him. B-Ron, this team's just looking well balanced.
Yeah, they looked a lot better this game.
And we've looked for one person to stand out for this team. But I'm starting to think that it's not going to be a one-man team. It's not going to be Xavier Pope. He's averaging just around 15. It's not going to be just Trey Willis or De'Aaron Cruz.
Right.
It's going to be everyone. And this Josiah Cook guy is just exploding onto the scene at 15 years old. There's another beautiful dime for him. We see the McBride there on the finish. And how about this kid? All of 5'10", I would say. That's on a good day. That's on a good day. Emmanuel Rollins, get up.
Ooh. All right, I had a yawn there, but yeah, and they also had great defense in this game too, yo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On top of shooting 60%, they did allow South America to shoot 59%, but the story's not in the numbers in this one. Defensively, they got stops where they needed to. Tyler Montalvin with a nice kick out here. I'll say this. It seems like they're starting to forge an identity with coach there now. They have a new coach there. And it's going to take some time for it to come together. There's Josiah Cook with a big steal there. Again, 12 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, 4 blocks. You know how many turnovers he had, B-Ron?
0?
The big donut in the turnover department. Talk about efficiency, man.
Yeah,
Talk
absolutely.
about efficiency. Xavier Pope, follow your shot, young man, and you will get rewarded.
Exactly.
B-Ron, what did you think of how well Yacht Club played in this one?
I think, and we'll come back to it here very shortly, actually, but I think that this was one of their best games of the year so far. It just so happened to result in a win too, but I think this was one of the best games that we've seen so far from them in the early going of the season. They looked well balanced, which is great for them going forward. Just have to keep up that same identity as De'Aaron Cruz comes back, which again we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, this game just got out of hand. It got out of hand. I think it closed out. The game actually closed out where the broadcast was lost. We lost that with our simulcast partners with ESPN late down there. But yeah, TYC looked great. SOAM looked pretty good. Looked like they're on their way. Tyler Montalvin on their side, 12 points, 11 assists, 11 boards, 2 blocks, and Addison Sampaio, 13 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. That could be a duo to keep your eye on.
Yeah, very well could be. I think that was part of the other season stuff. You got to figure out, who your guys are, and then go from there. Yacht Club ended up winning 82-66, as like you said, broadcast was lost, but ended up getting away from them in the fourth quarter, unfortunately for SOAM. But they were hung in there for the most part. Just got away, way at the end. Speaking of De'Aaron Cruz, though, let's get into our next topic here. The Yacht Club, they won big over the weekend without De'Aaron Cruz. But so is that a big deal, or is that not any kind of deal at all, in your opinion?
I think as we got the graphic of Xavier Pope there, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna make a whole lot out of something that I don't think is really there. I think De'Aaron Cruz is a great player. Sometimes a team plays well without their players. Sometimes it could be a situation where they're just rallying behind the absence of their player. There may have just been better flow for the matchup that they had. I think in this matchup, De'Aaron Cruz Coach Laster may have went really deep into his bag, deeper than he would have wanted to had he had De'Aaron Cruz available. When having so many talented kids on the team, I think he was able to shorten up that rotation a little bit. And I think he was able to find this was probably in the last two seasons, I would say, season one included, this was probably the most efficient I've seen their offensive out in the open court running. And I loved what I saw about it. With De'Aaron
Yeah.
Cruz there, De'Aaron Cruz demands the ball. I'm not going to call him a ball stopper, but the ball does flow through him. I would say a few of those shots probably wouldn't have happened. And Josiah Cook being able to bring that ball up and put himself in a position to draw the other team's big man out where he could open the passing lanes and hit some beautiful cutters. We saw Garrett Hart cutting back door. We saw Emmanuel Rollins, even Xavier Pope. A lot of these players were able to play off ball, and I don't know if that's. I think the game changes a little bit with De'Aaron Cruz. I don't make a whole lot of it, but I do like what I saw without him.
Okay, so I think someone knew what they were doing when they put that picture of Pope in there. This when they were putting the show together, because to me it's a big deal. To me, it's a big deal because when you have a player like Cruz, who we know is extremely talented and all that, and we get that, but when you see how they played and how the offense looked and how the team flowed in general without him on the floor, if I'm De'Aaron Cruz, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, how can I change my game in some way to fit as a part of this puzzle and not be a part of the problem? That would be the direction I would go in, trying to figure out how I can fit in, and not make other people fit around me. I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm not saying that at all. But I feel like because of how good they looked in that win over South America, that's something to consider, at least think about for the next when you get back on the court with your teammates. Just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I,
So
think
I do think it's a big deal in that regard.
I think any superstar thinks about that when their team goes out and plays without them. There's a pride factor to players. There's a lot of pride to these kids. We could say that. We've seen so much pride. You might want to pull some of it back. But yeah, there's pride when your team goes out and they perform well without you. Yeah, I think everyone's like, yeah, great team, but a great job team, but a little piece of you's like, yeah, I mean. I want to be needed, right? So we'll see
Right.
what happens. We look forward to it again.
Be needed, you can still be valuable.
Yeah,
You
for
just have
sure.
you just have to find a way to make it fit for you. You can't come back in and expect things to go back like they were before, and then expect the same result. Like last time. It could have happened, sure, but hey, like I said, it's just something to think about. Something to think about. So
I'll
we'll
think
see.
about this. If you want something to think about, we can quantify it. Between Tamir Johnson and Trey Willis, who I believe got the start together without starting De'Aaron Cruz, they were able to put up 23 points, 23 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists when they did not have to share the court with De'Aaron Cruz.
Mm.
We can go back and do some math on their averages prior to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to get that for you later on in the day, in the week, or whatever. But yeah. Oh man, but look, we had a player of the week as well. Akeem Young won player of the week. Who won player of the week? I had a huge game last week, and well deserved player of the week award winner. He put up 21 points, 17 rebounds in their game against Bad Boys Basketball,
Mm.
which was the game that won him the award this week. Is we've heard of a guy called Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, right? Well, is Akeem the key Young for Bad Boys? No, for the North. Is he the key for them really going forward, or is it one of those things where it's A-Rod and Enzo and a lot of the other kids that are on that team? Is it a one-man show, or is it, what I mean?
First of all, B-Ron, don't you ever bring up Akeem Olajuwon and name him with any of these SimWorld Prep kids. Don't even put him in the same. Don't do it.
Oh man,
Now,
Someone's gonna say it. He
Now,
compared he compared Akeem to Jordan. I didn't do that.
don't even
Didn't
say
do
their
that.
names in the same sentence. Now, now, all
That
that
out the
is
way, right?
said, I do think Akeem the Key Young is apt. I think that's very apt. He's absolutely the key to this team. Coach has got to figure out how to get him more involved, more continuously. You see, this is what he does. He is a rebounding and shot blocking machine. He is athletic. He can get it done. Offensively, is his bag deep? No, it's not. But guess what? He's going to be bigger, stronger, more athletic than most kids on the court 90% of the time. And how does a game of basketball work offensively? The more that you get touches offensively for most players, the more energy it gives you going to do those other things like grabbing boards, defending, and those are what he does at his core. And we haven't seen him really produce at the level we thought he would. Not just offensively, but on the glass and defensively so far this season. So on a game where he was the focus of some of the offense, he got involved in pick and roll. We saw he grabbed 17 boards, and I think he had a couple of
Right.
blocks too. Get him
Exactly.
involved, coach. Don't bring him all the way up to there to that terrible weather and ask him just to come. No one wants to come to Canada and sit in that weather if they're not going to be involved. If you're already from Canada, you deal with it, but you're not moving from Nowlands to Canada. Get that man some clock.
Especially because of the relationship that they built up, over the last season or so. You would think that Akeem would be the focus up there.
And maybe
Call
he
it
is.
call it favoritism or whatever you will, but that would be my thought process if I'm following a coach somewhere and I built that relationship with him. I would expect to be more of an important part of the offense, and that could very well be the case going forward. Of course, we just won't know until we see it happen.
And maybe it was just the defense. Maybe just the
Right.
defenders
Exactly.
have game planned against him.
Yep.
Sometimes that could be the case. We'll see it play
Yep.
out. But don't you ever call Akeem Young Hakeem Olajuwon. Ever!
That is
Don't do
not.
it.
How dare you? Well, look, he's slandering me. I'm not. I'm not appreciative of that, but I do appreciate you all listening to us this morning on SimWorld today. Thank you for joining us as always. Start off your week right with the boys over here. Um, as always, you guys look. Remember, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game, and remember to subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff, and we'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld.